Alright guys, in this video we're checking out the Caddx ANT FPV camera. This is an analog camera, super tiny, very lightweight, nano size as the name indicates here. Comes in black and silver colors, comes in a 16:9 and a 4:3 version, so there's actually 4 different versions. You get a black or silver in either 4:3 or 16:9. The one I have here is the black 16:9 version. The camera is PAL and NTSC switchable, and there is an OSD cable that comes in the package here. You get the joystick and cable and also a nano to micro adapter along with some mounting screws and your wiring harness. Your standard 3-pin plug for power and your video signal. And this is super light, it's about 2 grams I believe is what they said on the website. This is a early production version. It's not the final version, so it kind of looks a little, doesn't quite look as nice. I think this plastic here is pre-production, but the image is, the firmware that's on here is final, is what I've been heard, or been told. But yeah, it's a 1/3 inch CMOS sensor, 1200 TV lines, and this is basically like their budget Ratel. So if you like the image of the Ratel, it's kind of similar to the Ratel. It's replacing the EOS line. They're discontinuing the EOS line, and you couldn't change the settings on the EOS camera. That was one of the things I complained about quite a bit, but now you can change the settings in this. I'll show you that here in a second. But the camera is pretty inexpensive. It's $14.90 or about $15. Obviously you can probably find it on discount somewhere, but that's the starting price. And if you're looking for budget micro nano sized FPV camera for your light builds, this is definitely one you would want to consider. It's got a really good color image, the field of view is nice. Overall the image is pretty nice, and it's adjustable, so that's the thing. You can make adjustments here. So typically, like if you get like the Ratel or some sort of a larger or higher end camera, when you change the settings, those cameras cost quite a bit more. I think the Ratel is at least double the price. I think it's at least $30. So you're going to get similar features, but at a budget price with the Caddx ANT camera. So let's go ahead and plug it in, and we'll look at the settings, and I'll talk about the image and the flight demos. Alright, first go ahead and give you the weight, and everyone's going to ask me what that is. It's 2.2 grams on my scale. I think that they are advertising it to be 2 grams, so maybe they're not including the weight of these little plugs here. Okay, so here's a look at the image powered up in here, and the horizontal field of view is pretty comparable to the Ratel and the Toothless. This is a 16:9 version, so you can't change the aspect ratio, but you can see that the 16:9 aspect ratio here, you can see the top of the lights and the bottom of the desk there. It's pretty close to the Baby Ratel in 16:9 mode. I don't have the 4:3 version. I'm going to try and acquire that, and I'll link footage of the 4:3 version later. If you check back on this video description, I'll probably upload that at some point. I'm not exactly sure when that camera is going to come in because I just got the 16:9 version, but for those of you guys that have 4:3 goggles, you probably will want to get the 4:3 version. You're going to get probably get a larger vertical field of view, but the vertical field of view on the 16:9 version doesn't look that bad. It looks pretty good actually. Okay, so I've got the standard Caddx OSD control cable here, and let's go into the settings and show you where you can adjust your image. It's under Image Enhance, and just like on the Ratel, you can change your contrast, sharpness, saturation, digital noise reduction. All those settings are adjustable here, and I flew everything, all the sample footage is on default settings here. I didn't change anything if you guys are wondering. And then here under video settings, you can change your camera standard from NTSC to PAL in that menu. But in terms of the other settings here, it's like standard stuff here. You got your AE settings or automatic exposure settings. I never touch any of this stuff, but if you want to adjust those are there for you. And then you have your automatic white balance settings here. I always leave that on auto and never change that. So then there's the day-night setting. I also typically leave that alone. In this particular case, the default is color, which means the camera will try and stay in color mode as long as possible, so it switches to black and white. And that's pretty much it. You can change the language there, and then of course there's the you can reset your settings here if you want to go back to factory. So that's pretty much it for the camera. I'll go ahead, I'll show you the flight footage I got from the Diamond VTX on this camera, and then also some cloudy day and night footage in a separate file that we linked in the description. That's recorded on the PowerPlay DVR, so it's a little bit higher resolution, higher quality if you want to see that in 60 frames per second. Okay guys, that's it for this video, and here are the flight demos.